Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honor to the boss of the great millstone who taught us truth and who rule well. A mighty shalom to the brothers out there to teaching week in and week out, prophesying the downfall of Yisrael Edom, and the deliverance of the hopeful elect Israelites out there on the four corners of the earth. Another mighty shalom to the believers on the four corners of the earth, stand rooted in his faith. For this lesson, for this quick lesson, I'm going to Nubin Tech, also known as the brain Dorito, from the episode of Black Mirror, the very first episode, it went into the brain micro Dorito, the MOTB, according to Revelation 13, Revelations 14, So this will pretty much break down the episode. This lady, she was sick. I think she had some type of cancer, in the brain, and a company pretty much came up to her husband, and wanted to do a new, pretty much an experimental practice, an experimental practice to pretty much see if it worked. But so pretty much they already knew that it worked. The doctors, but it had a hidden agenda behind it, So when she got it, it worked out fine. Worked out completely fine. She was healthy in about a week. But it came with some stipulations, So she was cool like the first week. Out of nowhere, she had like pockets of lost memory or not being there, And then the first part that happened was she started receiving ads. She just started talking out of nowhere and not remember what she was saying. She started getting random ads, and start speaking it out loud, talking about anything, So if you have Netflix, you could watch that first episode of season 7, so y'all could see what I'm talking about, Black Mirror. But then, and just to bring another point in that, it had just pretty much, it was connected to multiple servers and towers, like cell towers, all over the country. But to access all those towers, you must get an upgrade each and every time. They had like Plus, they had like I forget exactly what it was called in the show, but it was something Plus, then the next thing Ultra, then like the Super package, and every time it was like $200 for the first package, and then the next one was like $500 on top of that, and the next thing, for the rich, to have full coverage. Yeah, because each package, it was for a certain status of people, and that's exactly what is going to happen too, But for each status, it was a certain package, for a certain price, for that last package for the rich, the elites, to have access, to have the one without no ads, or to make it not lag or lose connection, it would be like an extra, like a couple thousand, I think, or 1,000, for the rich. He won't have them problems all over the country or wherever you may be going, But yeah, eventually, they started running out of money, because it was a part of a payment plan. Eventually she had to go back to them ads, on that first package, showing that they was back at that lower state, But then eventually she just ended up giving up, because she didn't want to keep dealing with that no more. So that she asked her husband, to pretty much take her life, That was just the backstory of that episode. Of course, there's a lot more into it, but that was just a quick summary of it. But come to find out, that was a real company, as a company, and that's exactly when we're going to this. You know. It says the internet is buzzing over a mysterious new piece of tech called Nubin, an implantable brain Dorito that claims to let users revisit memories, relive dreams, and escape reality altogether. Continuing on, it says Netflix Black Mirror Season 7 promotional campaign had fans convinced the Nubin was an actual product. The Dorito allegedly developed a company called TCKR Systems promised to take users to a state of virtual consciousness. Let's get to the point. Okay. Let's get straight to the point. What I really want to get into, Salakia. But that was just pretty much the point of the video. But let's get this Neuralink. Okay, this is what it was based off of. It's Neuralink.com. It says redefining the boundaries of human compatibilities, requiring Slacker requires pioneers. So they need contestants or people to work on, you know. Yeah, it needs somebody to participate. It says Neuralink is currently seeking people with quadriplegia or plegia to participate in a groundbreaking investigational medical device clinical trial for our brain-computer interface. You know, and brain-computer interface is linking the brain to a computer or a cloud, you know, or linking the two together. That's what interface means. And I'm gonna get what's the name, Revelation 13, because this goes into the miracles, you know, that the beast is gonna do. You know, let's get some more with this. This was in 2024. So the first clinical trials was in 2023. And this right here. It says Neuralink's original ambitions, which must outline when he founded the company in 2016, included meshing human brains with artificial intelligence. Its more immediate aims seem in line with neural keyboards and other devices with paralysis already used to operate computers. The methods and speed which Neuralink pursued those goals, however, have resulted in federal investigations into dead study animals and transportation of hazardous materials. You know, and coincidentally, which is what wasn't a coincidence, that Trump DJT, you know, DJT had Muskie pretty much fire people from the federal investigation that was overseeing, you know, BCI's brain computer interfaces, or micro C-hips, you know. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Salaki, let me think of a better way to look this up. Sure. Yep, this is it right here. The water y'all watching me outside. Crazy as hell. So it's FDA staff were reviewing Elon Musk's brain implant company. Doge just fired them. So this is gonna make the way, to make this this thing get up and running on the road. It's gonna make this go through the federal government, fairly smoothly. It said the cuts included about 20 people in the FDA's Office of Neurological and Physical Medicine Devices, several of whom who worked on Neuralink. It says that division includes reviewers overseeing clinical trial applications by Neuralink and other companies making so-called brain-computer interface devices, the source said. It says both sources said they did not believe the employees were specifically targeted because of the work on Neuralink's applications. But we know that's a lie. Come on now, we know it's a lie. It's a way to make it easy and smooth sailing, when they finally roll this out. Yeah, right here at the bottom it says, we should be worried about the whole trial and the protection of the people in the trial. And this is what it's going into right here. The possibilities of Neuralink, them doing miracles, Neuralink is currently testing its device, which allows paralyzed people to use digital devices solely via thought in a small number of disabled patients. The company is also working on an implant aimed at restoring vision. Last year, the FDA gave the device a designation aimed at speeding up development and federal review, the company has said. So soon the MOTB, the mark of, it's soon to come, We right here, And the firing those FDA employees just made it so much quicker, That was an obstacle course, that was an obstacle, that the government set up, in case of these things, and they just fired them, they let them go, And who's the head of DOGE, Doge? Elon Musk. Y'all don't think that's a coincidence? Y'all don't think that don't go hand in hand? Cause it's not a coincidence, It ain't happened by luck. It ain't just happened out of nowhere, DJT set him up, and then now he's going to further his agenda, And it's crazy said the image of the beast shall both speak. Let's get this let's get these Christians and we can roll up out of here. This is starting Revelation 13 and 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. You know, those miracles, exactly what I just brought out, you know, that's one of the miracles, you know, making people with brain injuries, you know, to be able to walk or whatever, you know, people that lost their sight, you know, to gain vision again or to be able to speak, you know. You could look it up, Neuralink, they came out with a video last year where they had a chimpanzee pretty much playing video games, you know, so it upped his neurological patterns, you know, and his neurons in his brain to pretty much become smarter, you know, combining like just like what I brought up earlier, brain computer interface, you know, combine his brain with AI, you know, to become smarter. It says, saying to those, so it's like it's saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the womb by a sword and did live, and he that had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, you know. You know, the ones that don't follow suit, you know, with this current world and what it's going towards, you know, and the ones that's not going to take the MOTB. And this is exactly what is going to happen right here. Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. You know, let's get that. Ooh. Amazon Palm reader to buy food. Contactless Palm. Let's get this one. You know, that micro C hip in your hand, you know. It says Amazon has been slowly rolling out the Palm-based biometric authentication system since 2019. It says Amazon said the contactless system is easier than paying with NFC through a smartphone or a smartwatch. You know, and this is just gradualism towards paying with your actual hand. You know, paying with that device. You know, put in your hand. You know, and then I know it says right hand, but say if your right hand, a person doesn't have a right hand. You know, then it's gonna be put in your left hand. You know, that's exactly what it's gonna be. You know, either in your right hand, you know, or your left hand, or in your brain. And I have that as well. I'll let you have a video for proof. I literally just sent it the other day. Boom.
شريحة رقمية إلكترونية في يد.
unlocking your car with your hand, paying for your food with your hand, scanning your hand with your phone. Boom. You know, buying and selling with your hand. Let me continue on this scripture. So he's gonna call both small and great, you know, rich and poor, all facets of the society, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You know, so this is the way of the future, you know, the way of the NWO, you know, that's soon to come, you know. And eventually, you're not going to be able to support yourself unless you have that mark in your right hand, your forehead, or right hand or your forehead, you know, to pretty much further your life, you know, in this new world order, you know. Soon enough, people want to see, you know, soon enough when the dollar crash and they bring up this whole digital system, you know, then with that digital system, people are going to put on a universal basic income, you know, UBI, you know. Everybody get paid the same thing, you know. But yeah, I hope this lesson was edifying, you know, going into the MOTB, you know, going into the BCI, you know, the brain computer interface, you know, going into the Neuralink, you know, going to the Amazon palm reader. That's gradualism, you know. Stay rooted up, you know. I'm in this off by giving all praise, honor, and glory until Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakodash, double honors to the apostle of this great millstone, and another shalom, another mighty, mighty shalom to the believers on the four corners of the earth. You know, shalom, shalom, stay rooted in this faith. Kwam Yasharallah, and the Bible ball soon.